What's up, everyone? Welcome to the most real podcast you will ever listen to. This is Unpolished, told by KirkSlay, and I am KirkSlay.
And this is Kirk, and here we are back at it again with another podcast episode for all you listeners out there. Today on this episode, this Turn Up Tuesday, we have a topic that has been very eye-opening for myself, and I'll let KirkSlay speak for herself on her feelings about it, but the pressures of perfection, y'all, and perfectionism. Be pushing P. KirkSlay, what?
Oh my God! It is way too soon.
I had to do it. What?
He was dying to do that, you guys.
What are your initial thoughts on this one?
I mean, so Kirk and I took a test. Are you a perfectionist? And we failed epically. Like the fact that the both of us scored the same was just frightening. And I think it was eye-opening. So it's like time for some self-reflection, I feel like. But I think it fueled this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought of myself as a perfectionist. I guess after doing the test and, reading some of the questions and obviously then getting that result, I'm like, I guess that kind of does make sense. And in the way I approach certain things, especially in my work life.
I mean, I always knew I had OCD, but to see it on paper, I guess that I really am a perfectionist at heart is just kind of scary.
Yeah, I think the test that we took, some of those things are going to definitely come up again, and as far as like throughout this conversation that we have today, and I mean, it's only right, I guess, that we ask each other this question, I guess, and so. KirkSlay, are you a perfectionist? Or do you see yourself as a perfectionist?
Yes, and now I do even more. I don't know. I think I set really high expectations for myself, as I guess is everybody, right? But I think it's at another level. I mean, I have made myself sick over it at times.
Yeah.
I overthink a lot, and when my name is on something or when I know, someone relies on me for something, I feel like there is no other option but to be perfect.
So why do you think that is, though?
I don't know. I don't, and it's funny, in all these articles, we've been reading articles in Harvard Business Review and University of Colorado, I read a lot of, and it says it all starts when you're a kid. Obviously. But where does it come from? Like pressure from parents or pressure from your peers. Now we live in the social media world, so it's definitely coming from there. I'm a competitive person by nature.
Yeah.
And so obviously there's a level of competitiveness, of wanting to be the best and always wanting to do better. But I also feel like we're losing the moment, right? You're losing, if you're so focused. I've given myself anxiety. I've made myself sick over it. And it's like, you think about that. Where are you enjoying the journey? You're not. I'm not, right? In that moment, you're not, because you're so focused on the end result.
Yeah, I mean, I think the journey itself is probably something that we definitely have to. Well, I guess for me, I think it's more so depending on what it is. So I would take myself to be a perfectionist in my work life more so.
That is a lie. I'm totally going to call your ass out on this.
I'm just telling you how I
I'm
feel.
going to call you out.
Was the question not?
Hold on.
Was
pause.
the question not? Do you see yourself as a perfectionist?
I
I'm
do,
saying
but
I
you
see
can't.
myself as a perfectionist only in my work life.
I don't think that's true. You're
right.
also a basketball coach. I am still hearing about.
I don't expect perfection, but I expect you to do your job.
Okay, Tom Brady. Oh my God. Do your job.
Come on.
Right, but I think that a little bit of that, I'm the same way, right? Like I expect people, here's the other thing. I expect people to behave as I behave and to function and think the way I think. Not everybody is built that way.
Well, as a leader, you lead by example. So
right, but you can't. There are some things you cannot teach. There are some people that are self-starters. There are some people that are go-getters. You either have that in you or you don't.
But you being a leader that you are, you know what buttons to push for those folks, right?
I mean, I think I know what
And
to.
you know those people. You put those people in the position to win, based upon what their skills are.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have a way about making someone see something that they might not have.
Right. And they work better, and they become better because of what you've done for them.
But you don't feel like people are born with that fire.
I mean, I feel like some people aren't, some people don't aren't.
Yeah.
Some people have. I mean, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Some people like have the will to be great. They want to Kobe Bryant, that mindset, that Mamba mentality. That shit is that is different. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have Mamba mentality. If I did, I'd be in the league right now.
Yes and no. That saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Do you know how many times I say that a week to my leaders? Believe me, ask them. Get them on this pod and they're like, oh my God, she always says that. Because it's true. You can set somebody up for success. You can give them all the tools. You can coach them. You can guide them. But if they are not self-motivated,
Yeah,
they are not going to do it.
that's facts.
You cannot force someone to change their, it's growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
Right, right. I mean, I guess those people aren't perfectionists.
Do you think people that are perfectionists have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset?
I would probably say growth. I mean, for myself, it's growth.
Really? Or you're so stubborn and so set in your ways that maybe, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying people,
Right.
that maybe that fixed mindset is like, it's going to be this way, it's going to be that way. Like there's no changing that.
Well, then in that case, I guess it really depends on the person and how and what they're using their professionism or perfectionistic mindset to be. Like, how are they using it to? What are they using it? What's their gain? What's their end game? What do they want to achieve? Like for me, like I said before, I see myself as a perfectionist in my work life because I want to win. I want to be great. I want to get to the top of the food chain. I want to be the one that's eaten. You know what I'm saying? I'm the hunter, not the hunted. You know what I'm saying? Like
But what happens when you get there, I guess, is the thing, right? We strive for this perfection. We strive to get to the top. We strive to win. What happens when you have won? What happens when you get to the top? Sometimes it's lonely there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's like we talked about in our other pods of you meet these filthy rich people that have more money than they know what to do with. They're the loneliest people you will ever meet. So it's like you have to enjoy the journey at some point. You have to stop and pause and breathe and say, okay, here's my end goal, and it's fine to be, pushed to be perfect, but what are we learning, right? What are we doing it so fast that we're not stopping to enjoy the journey?
I'll be honest with you. I don't have the answer for you, but
I want to know.
I'll tell you how it feels when I get there. Okay. Word up,
to
though.
be continued.
Because like, I mean, I can't speak to that because I'm not there yet. I don't know what it's like to be filthy rich and then not have. I don't know what it's like to have reached all of my goals, done everything I wanted to do, and then be like, damn, what's next?
And maybe some people don't. My crazy story. My great grandfather.
I feel like that shit never stops.
I don't think it does. My great grandfather. Okay, God rest his soul. And how many people can say, they knew their great grandparents, right? My great grandparents were like in their 90s before they passed. And my great grandfather had a ton of money, but he was one of the cheapest humans, right? And everybody used to say, like,
that's why he was rich.
Crazy. What are you going to do with all that money? Like, what are you going to, the man was hoarding it, like hid it in places and sat in the same chair and ate ice cream all day as like the older he got, didn't do anything, didn't travel, didn't go anywhere. He just hoarded money and he died. Right. And like, it's like, what was all that for? Right. He was obviously very successful at some point, but he lived like he wasn't. And there was nothing to, like, where does that go? What do you do with it?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a good segue though into our next question is perfection possible? Is perfection achievable? Is perfection a realistic goal? You know, well, I mean, let me ask you this: when you think of perfection, what does that mean to you, and why are we pushing for that? Is perfection, like, is that being the top on the top of the food chain? Is perfection achieving all of your goals? Is perfection being, filthy rich and being able to do whatever the hell you want to do when you want to do it? Like, what is perfection,
I don't
and
think
why
so,
and why are we
because
pushing for it?
first of all, who defines perfect? Perfect might look very different to people.
Very true.
And are these people that are so-called perfect, are they happy? Because I think that's the part that we're missing. Is it so painful to be perfect that you're not even happy? You're miserable?
Yeah.
It hurts so much. Like, you're so tired. You're so drained from putting it in your mind that you have to be a certain way, look a certain way, make a certain amount of money, drive a certain car. Like, I'm tired. I'm going to be very honest with you. I push myself so hard internally. I am so exhausted because to me, and I'm happy. I'm a very happy person, right? But I'm tired. Like, it's a different line, right? And at what point do we say, maybe I'm okay the way I am and I might not be perfect, but I'm happy and I want to choose happiness?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's what it ties into for me is I don't see myself as a perfectionist outside of work. I think I want to be a perfectionist at work and during work, and that's where I put the pressures on myself.
So you don't think you are a perfectionist in other aspects of your life?
I wouldn't say perfectionist though. I mean, do I want to drive a nice car? Hell yeah. Do I want to have, an abundance of money where I'm financially, well off? Yeah. I definitely want those things, but I think that also starts at work, which is why I push myself so hard at work to be great. I want to push myself to make that promotion. I want to push myself to get that title.
Oh, I feel you.
I want to push myself. I want to push myself to make that salary. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so when I'm pushing myself to be for perfection, I'm trying to be better than the next man, and it's by any means necessary.
I feel you. I listen. We've been friends for a very long time, and
Yeah.
I think we're friends for a reason because we have that hustle mentality. But it is exhausting. I mean, you have to admit there's a level of I drain myself internally.
I got a lot of gray hairs.
Listen, let's not talk about that. There's a reason why I'm blonde. People, you can't see me, but there's a reason why I'm blonde. No, but for real, Kirk and I had a conversation. Listen, we talked about this recently. I do drive a nice car, and I love cars. I am a car girl. I've always drove nice cars. It's exhausting. That shit is expensive. Do you think, but in my mind, do I drive it for myself or do I drive it for other people? I drive it because I like nice cars, but that's when I think about all the money that I could save if I just wanted to be basic. Shit, I could be going on crazy vacations and living in a mansion.
So are you saying that is the car self-validating or is the car validation by others?
I don't know anymore. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. And, Kirk laid out a crazy question for me. He said, do you want to look the way you look and carry these bags and wear these shoes and get out of a whack car? And when he said that, I was like, oh, dang. That sounds crazy.
I mean, I have a nice home. I have nice things. I think the only thing that I don't have nice is my vehicle.
But I feel like you're smart. I look at you and I'm like, yes, he is doing it right.
I don't even drive the car.
I mean, I guess that's another point. But
literally since being remote, I might have filled up my tank maybe 10 times in 2 years. Maybe. And the thing is, when I put gas in my car, I always fill it up. So that goes to show you,
you're so lucky. It cost me almost $100 to fill my gas.
I don't leave the house unless I have to.
But okay, I want to go back to this because I think we're derailing.
Yeah.
But it's a good point because you really got me thinking. Is it for myself or is it because I care what other people think of me?
I'm sure it's a little bit of both.
It's crazy, right? But it's also that perfectionist mindset. I am the type of girl that will if I'm having a party or we're hosting an event at our home and our holiday, I literally drive myself crazy for 3 days up into that point where everybody arrives. I stay up till 2 in the morning after the cleaning lady comes, and I'm cleaning behind her. So not only cleaning before the cleaning lady, cleaning after the cleaning lady, and then freaking out if everything is not
You sound
in
like
the
my
right
mother.
place.
My mother does stuff like that.
It's crazy. My mom, I grew up that way. My mom did that stuff, and I feel like it's definitely learned, right? Learned behavior. So Mama D, I don't know what the hell you were thinking, but thanks a lot for ruining my life. I'm just playing. I love you. But that's like, it's because if God forbid someone walks in the house and there's a napkin out of place or my china has a spot on it, I'm gonna lose my damn mind.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I don't even be noticing shit like that.
And half the people that come to my house do not notice it. And they're like, oh, we don't care. But in my mind, I'm like, not today. Not this one. Like it. But anyways, getting back to this. So the study that I read in Harvard Business Review said that perfection is not possible. It is not an achievable goal. And that anyone that becomes preoccupied with being perfect is setting themselves up for failure.
Ooh. So, but failure in what way?
I mean, I guess it could go in a lot of ways. In your mind,
Like failure as far as like not succeeding in what they're looking for, like succeeding in what they're trying to attain.
I mean, I think
or it's just up for interpretation.
I think it's up for interpretation, and I think,
So basically, I mean, if Harvard's saying that perfection isn't possible, I guess that shit ain't possible.
Because if Harvard says it,
But I mean, I guess back to the question, like, do you think that perfection is an achievable or realistic goal?
I don't. The older I get, I just don't. I think we can.
Why do you keep pushing yourself for it?
I don't know. I'm a lunatic, I guess. I have no idea. I'm Sicilian. It's in my blood. Because I guess I'm just not. I'm not done, right? Like everybody asks me why I've stayed at my job for so long. I've been at my job for a decade next month.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you're nuts. You're crazy. But I feel like I'm just not done. I'm not. It's in my mind that I need to reach certain goals. I have people that have invested in me.
Right.
And I've invested in them, and I'm just not done.
You see, it's funny you said that because I left my job for that reason.
For what reason?
What you just said.
What?
Like, my job is not finished. I'm not done. I'm trying to get to the next thing. I'm trying to make it to the next level.
Are you saying I should leave my job?
No. I'm saying I'm agreeing with you in the feelings of like,
But your situation is so different. Like you are so much happier now. And you are in a good place and you have an amazing job and it's what you were meant to do, right? Like, I think you finally found...
I don't feel like that, but...
I mean, we all...
Not that it's like something I was meant to do.
Yeah, but I'm on the outside looking in. Yourself, that's a good point, too. You're never going to be... Like, we are two people. Our mentalities, we are never going to be satisfied.
That's a damn shame.
You're trapped. Like you're stuck in this mindset that no matter what you do, but I now am catching myself like you have to enjoy the moments and the journey of life, because if you sit in this mindset of everything has to be perfect, one, it's never going to be. Two, shit happens. And three, you're going to miss out on some really great things.
You want to know something sick? When I got this new job, like obviously like, and you know what, I'm not going to say what it is, but like how, like it was a great achievement, right? Like
for sure,
especially where I'm at in my career, like the opportunity was so grand, and I might have been happy for like 5 minutes, like maybe a day.
That's crazy. Why?
Maybe like, I don't even know if I even like was really truly happy, like even after I got the thing. Like I was happy, like I was like, yes, I'm free from
what you were doing,
what I was doing, like I'm on to the next endeavor. Like I know it's pushing forward. I know it's a great opportunity. I know it's gonna get me to where I want to go. It's the step that I needed. But like at the same time, I was like, damn, now I really gotta I really gotta show up now. Like, I really gotta get it right now. And it was just back to the drawing board. Like, the cycle of putting that pressure on myself. Like, I gotta be the greatest. I gotta be the best.
I think we're just not mediocre. Like, we're not basic bees, man. It's just not. I don't think it's in our blood at all. And I guess that's why we get along.
I guess I hate losing.
Yeah, losing sucks. But here's the caveat to
But
this.
I feel like anything less than winning is a loss to me. I coach kids basketball. You know that,
Yeah.
right? I coach high school rec league basketball. I was just in a league. In my eyes, the league was so trash. If I knew this was how it was going to be before I got into it, I would have never done it. There was no practices. We had one practice the whole time, and I had to beg the commissioner to give us a second one.
Which is so crazy to me, by the way. Who plays a game without practicing?
Wild. No practices, right? And every other league, every other age group got practices. But not our high school league, though. Go figure. Anyway, so no practices. That's one. They had this crazy rule that everybody had to play 2 quarters, right? Which is cool. That's usually what it is in rec leagues. You got to, make sure everybody gets at least, 8 to 10 minutes a game. Understandable, right? But once you made your lineup at the beginning of the quarter, you couldn't make any subs during the quarter, make any adjustments, right?
Shit's whack.
Wild. So it in some instances it hamstrung you, right? Because you weren't able to, make any switches, adjustments, things like that. Like, everyone had to play. Sometimes when you get down to the crunch time, like, you got to make some swaps and things like that. Like, so it was crazy. Anyways, with that happening and all of that, I didn't know a soul. We didn't have any evaluations to see what kind of kids you were getting. Completely went blind into the draft. I'm guessing off of names, things like that.
Profiling people. That's
Profiling
nice.
like a mug. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's great.
I'll be completely honest. I was looking for the Deshaun's,
Oh my God.
Keyshawn, Trayvon. I was looking for all of them. Sorry, but it's true. And we ended up going to the championship. Got the championship game, right? Which is an achievement in itself, right? Got the second place trophy, and obviously I told all the kids, keep your heads up, gave them all that spiel and whatnot. But in my head though, I'm like, this second place trophy, throw that shit in the trash. I don't want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with that.
You're bringing up
that is a trophy. That is a lose. That just tells me that I lost. Every time I see it, I lost. Get that shit out of here. Throw it away.
I think you're bringing up a really good point, because am I a hypocrite, right? I'm sitting here saying all this stuff and how I want to be perfect and how nothing's ever good enough. I have to every day as a mom tell my kid that winning isn't everything, that losing is okay. Do I believe that in my head? No. I'm like, hell no, we're not going to lose. We don't lose. We win.
We win.
But I can't say that as a mom.
Yeah,
I can't make my kid. And here's the crazy thing. We've talked about this before. My child is a perfectionist.
Yeah.
His teacher, his principal, all of his coaches, they will tell you to your face, that boy is destined for greatness because there is no room for losing. He gets so upset internally, and I feel like he got that all from me, and I feel so guilty. I've never put it in his mind, but I feel like you're kind of born into that, right? The same way I was with my dad and my mom and her OCD. It's just there, and it's in his blood, and I have to remind him all the time that you need to mess up, you need to fail, you need to, you have to experience the greatness. And he struggles in school with that. He gets frustrated, and I've had numerous conversations with his teachers, but I can see so much of myself in him, and it breaks my heart a little bit. But then, you almost get excited because you see that fire, and you just know that he has a switch that turns on. And you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Like, he will mess around and he'll talk shit and he'll joke, and then he gets on the field and there is a switch
All
that
business.
flips, that this boy, he sees like fire in his eyes, and that is it. It is like go time.
I'll take your soul type
It's
mentality.
wild. I've watched it in real time and I'm just like, damn, that's my kid. Like, he goes for blood and it's so crazy, but he also has that vibe that he has seen other kids struggle and he'll help them. He'll take them under his wing and he'll coach them, and he's only 7.
Yeah, it's natural leadership right there.
It's crazy.
That lead by example.
Yeah, it's crazy.
His
stuff.
mama's a boss though.
Hey, no.
Well, I guess that comes down to brings us into our next question really here is is failure a weakness?
Oh, that's a loaded one.
So we were just talking about before, like what was that you said from the Harvard Business Review? Go say it again.
Yeah, perfection is impossible. That people who become preoccupied with being perfect set themselves up for failure.
Right. So is failure a weakness though?
I'm going to say no, because I have built my career, my life actually, off of mistakes and lessons learned. Yeah. People get hired into my company and I will interact with them, and the first thing I tell them is screw it up, break something.
Yeah.
Mess up, because that is going to be your foundation of success.
Your learning experience.
All my leaders that. I've had leaders come to me, call me and say, oh my God, I screwed this up. I did something. And I say, and they want me to get mad. They want me to have a reaction. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's talk about it. I'm going to tell you every step of what happened and how you're going to get over it.
You know what this sounds like, honestly? Like we give like such great advice.
Should we go back to school to be therapists?
But we don't
can't take our own.
Like at all.
Nope.
But the reason why I asked is failure a weakness, and that's why I wanted you to state the Harvard Business Review reference again, because when you don't achieve what you're trying to achieve, or let's say you're working on a project and the project that you're working on doesn't hit the way you want it to when you deliver it, and you having that, and I don't mean you, but you having that perfectionistic mindset, or wanting everything to be like top notch, is anything less than that a failure?
It's my fuel. It's fuel for me.
I like that.
It's gonna make me try 10 times harder. I'll share, I'm not going to get into detail, but I recently was put on a project that, I have some experience, right? But there are things about it that I had to learn myself, right? Nobody around me really knew what to do or how this was going to go. And I was approached with it and I said, okay, cool. Like, I'm sitting there saying, yeah, give it to me. I'm good. All right. And then in the background, I'm secretly like, oh shit, like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I spent nights working very late, Googling things online, figuring that shit out, because in my mind, there is no room for failure. I made some mistakes along the way. I'm not going to lie. But I learned a lot, right? And I feel like I'm a better person. And through your career, you learn every day, right? By some, whether it's a mess up or someone else's mistake, it is my fuel. And I feel like I encourage everybody around me to never be afraid to fail, because that is going to be the foundation of your success. And, I think it's really important to, we say it sounds easy when we say it, right? We don't take our own advice. And there were days throughout this project that I got really down and really hard on myself. Like, am I going to cut it, right? Am I going to be okay? And I think you were someone that was, you've always been in my corner with that stuff. And I think you sometimes I don't like what you say, but you say it anyway. And so I feel
keep it real.
Yeah, but no one likes to hear 100. That stuff. And I think you kicked me in the ass a little bit, like, get out of your pity party and get it together, because you know what you're doing. But I think we always need someone to remind us that it's okay to fail. I don't think that it's weakness by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think failure is learning experiences. Those failures are learning experiences. I failed a lot in my life, come up short in a lot of places, but I'm still here, and and I've learned a lot from those things, gotten better from those things. I think that when you fail, the more you fail, the more you learn, right? And
1000%.
the more that um I think it makes you stronger from that point, because you fail. uh I think maybe we should be thinking of failures in a different light, because I think when you think failure, it's automatically negative. But yeah, it might be bad in somewhat, like you might mess something up, but it is a learning experience at the end of the day. And I think we should be calling them just like, I think that's what we should call them, like learning experiences and not failures,
Yeah,
right?
failure is a really big word.
But when I don't know, I do consider, like, if you are looking to achieve something and you don't achieve that, that is a loss in my
It is a
eyes.
loss,
I
but
feel like it, and I feel like sometimes it is somewhat of a failure. I remember, like, I know, like, for me, when I was going through my job search, and I was going through my job search, and I was applying to like 10, 12 places, 10 to 15 places a week. I'm sending out my resume everywhere. I went through like 6 or 7 interviews, like, and I think 3 or 4 of them I made it all the way to the final interview, and then didn't get chosen.
because it wasn't meant for you.
Yeah, but you could say that right now. I mean, and I could say it right now too.
I
No,
was
it
saying
wasn't.
that to you when it was happening.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm saying, like, I considered that as a failure when I was going through it. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't it working? Like, I just want to get out of here so bad. Like, you know what I'm
Yikes.
saying? Like it's just like, what is going on? I wanted, like, I just wanted to, I knew that I could do the work. I knew I had the credentials. So, but overall, I think, I considered it as a failure, but it's not, though, because I learned from each and every one of those interviews, and every single one, I got better and better and better for the next
And
one.
every single one
And
led
then,
you to your current opportunity.
exactly.
And I am a strong believer of God will present what is meant for you at
Right.
the right time, and everything you go through is setting you up for that exact moment. And it's interesting. This article in Harvard Business Review also mentioned that this obsession to be perfect, it causes these depression and anxiety disorders, which is
Yeah.
really unhealthy. It is crazy that there is actually a rehab facility for people that suffer from this perfection and OCD and these things that lead to really serious, it leads to depression, anxiety, suicide attempts. It's crazy. I read all about this place that you could either go and check yourself in or have a sponsor, because it is becoming a disease.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that it could definitely make you sick. I too was reading an article, and it was stating how, and I guess let's segue into the question, and I think we could attach, like, some of these thoughts into what the next question was, 'cause I think this ties in, like, it was a great alley oop. You over here Chris Paul and
Here we go
alley oops over
again.
here.
You're welcome.
But how does perfectionism and this perfectionistic mindset impact your mental health, right? And in that question, it's not even just mental health that this mindset can impact and have a negative impact on. I was also reading that it could impact how it can, those people that suffer from this. It has, like, you can have high blood pressure, leading to cardiovascular disease, any of your underlying health issues that you might have. It makes it worse because that stress on your body makes it worse and worse for you. It ages you faster. It's just, it's an unbelievable thing that how it could impact the mind, and then the mind impacts the body.
I mean, it's no joke. I have Guillain-Barré
Yeah.
syndrome, which for people that don't know, it's a nerve disorder. It's nerve damage. Part
Autoimmune.
autoimmune. Thank you. Part of that, it's very debilitating. Part of it causes, my whole left side to go numb, or like I can't stand up, or I can't lift as heavy weights at the gym. And it stress makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So I can always tell, which is crazy, when I am super stressed out and I'm giving myself anxiety over this perfection.
Right.
I can feel it, and that's really crazy. And it flares up. It gets to a point where it really is debilitating, and I know part of it I'm doing it to myself. It is so psychological, and it's wild that it can affect your health like that.
Yeah.
There are nights that I can't sleep. I mean, it's crazy, and it's self-inflicted. I mean, obviously the disease is not, but the flare-ups are self-inflicted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously everyone says, and you read a lot about it and things like that, how much the mind impacts the rest of your health. But it's just unbelievable that, something that seems as small as wanting to be great or overachieve, so to speak, can negatively impact you is, it's just crazy. I think think of that.
You bring up a good point, though. It's mental. It's all in your head. People say that, it drives me wild when people say, like, oh, going to the gym, you just have to show up and you have to go there, and losing weight, you just work out and you go on a diet. No way. That shit is pure mental. It lives in your head. There is something mental about going to a gym, working out, eating right, drinking water. That all starts in your mind. I don't care what anybody says. It does.
Well, you got to want to do it.
Yeah. That whole, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Oh, God.
Shut it.
Oh, man. Well, of course, as with most of our episodes, we like to, leave with some positivity and some further knowledge. So
I have some for you.
Yeah,
You want it?
Yeah, I was trying to give you the alley-oop. Come on, man.
There's that perfect mentality. I'm going to do it myself, Kirk.
Jeez.
No,
Tough.
for real.
Tough.
So we have 3 tips that actually came from the Colorado business journal or whatever I was reading. I find these crazy things online. There are 3 tips that they say help overcome the pressure to be perfect. Number 1, practice gratitude. I feel like you are the king of this. You talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
Celebrating the wins.
Yeah, too bad I can't do it myself.
You can't. I know we're preaching all this stuff, but we can't even practice it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to celebrate the wins, whether they're big or small.
Every day. So as much as I'm sitting here saying that, every day I will end the day. So I start the day with my team like, good morning, how are you? I'll maybe give them a quote or something. And at the end of every day, no matter what I'm doing, because they are working much later, than me, I will say, you guys did great today, right? Like, great work. Even if it was a hard day,
Yeah.
even if it was challenging, because it is so important to call out the small wins, no matter what it is. So even like you getting your new gig and starting a new career and a new chapter, you were happy for a hot second, but I kept saying, congratulations.
Yeah.
Everybody was so excited for you. It is so important to celebrate the small wins.
Got to. I got to do a better job of that.
You do.
Yeah.
You must.
I'll work on that.
Write a post-it for yourself.
I should.
Stick it on your
I should
computer.
Oh, my. I was just about to say that.
Affirmations.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so number 2. This is a good one. I love this one. So refresh not just your feed on your social media, but in your real life. That, my friends, is a bold statement. We sit here and press refresh on whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Insta. I mean, come on. My whole glam for the gram. Stop refreshing that shit and start looking in the mirror, right? Refresh your own life.
You want to know something that just reminded me of? I was in the gym the other day, and
Oh my God.
so I had to quickly just wash my hands before I left. So I wanted her to wash my hands, and on the mirror it said, "Flex, you know you want to."
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
So the reason why I say that is because, like, you want to, refresh yourself. Like I felt like that.
Did
that
you
caught
flex?
Nah, I didn't. No, I got nothing to flex right now. Your boy is on a journey of trying to get back. But I'm saying, like, make yourself feel good. Make yourself feel good.
Yeah.
Self-care, that kind of thing.
I mean, I think it is so important to hit the reset button,
Yeah.
right? We do it a lot on these social media platforms. Do it internally. It is so important. And yeah, I mean, I can't stress that enough. I feel like so many people, like they say, be pretty in real life, not just for social media. It is so important. You can have a real pretty face, but at the end of the day, it's congratulations on your face. How's the rest of you? Like, are you good?
Hey, just make sure y'all are go ahead and flex in the mirror, y'all. It's gonna make you feel better.
I feel like I would giggle if I did that. I don't know. Like, there's something really funny about it.
I mean, sometimes when you had a crazy workout and you got a nice pump, hey, flex it.
Okay. Let us know when you do that. I'm dying to maybe take a picture. All right. I'm done.
I might have a flex a photo or two of me flexing in the mirror.
All right. Anyways, number 3. And the final tip, be kind to yourself.
Ooh.
It is so important. So, good segue. Go to the gym, work out, meditate, do yoga, read a book.
All that self-care.
I'm a big, I love affirmations. And actually, my son is doing them. We have them on the fridge. He does them in school every day because he's really hard on himself. Say affirmations. I read an amazing book that, I've given to a lot of people as gifts. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise L. Hay. Great book. It's actually really pretty too to look at, but she talks all about positive reinforcement, ask, receive, believe, speak it into existence. She would encourage people to like put them on the mirrors in their bathroom or on their fridge, on their steering wheel. You have to be kind to yourself because the more you speak it into existence, the more you're going to believe it. So if you tell yourself, you're this, you're that, you're not good, you're trash, you're not perfect, you're going to start to believe that. And it's going to be your way of life. And so be kind. Do good things and be kind to others because that will come back to you.
Amen.
Preach.
Gospel. Told by
of
KirkSlay.
Oh, KirkSlay, yeah. But that was my gospel.
Oh. You trying to go solo now? Dang.
I hate him.
I'm cut already.
I have a quote.
Too soon.
You want a quote to end this? I love.
Yeah. I got one too.
Oh God, he's gonna say.
I gotta go first.
No, I'll do mine.
Ladies first. I'm a gentleman.
All right. So here's a quote by J.M. Storm. She's not perfect. She is madness, and madness is a beautiful irony where perfection and flaws are the best of friends.
I like that one.
Bars.
Yeah, that was real.
Embrace your flaws.
Embrace them. Be kind to yourself.
Amen. All right, hit me with your quote.
Yeah, I don't know who said this, but and I meant to say it earlier, but we ended up, going off on our way as we do. But failure is not a weakness; it's a sign of courage.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep. Can't be afraid to fail.
I'm here for it.
Failure is learning experiences.
I've built my entire life off those learning experiences.
Yours sounded a lot better than mine.
No, I like yours a lot. I'm such a quote person.
Yeah.
When we did work together,
Very
which seems
cliche.
No, hold on. I want to reminisce for a second.
All right.
Keep quiet.
Yeah.
When we did work together, do you remember my quote board?
I do.
At the office?
I do remember the quote board.
I would put a quote on that every day, I feel like people would stop and look for it.
Yeah. It got to a point where people did stop and they would, and sometimes if you didn't update it on time, or like if you waited an extra day, they'd be like, wait, we saw that one last week.
Yeah,
Like,
they
what's
call me out of my shit.
Yeah, you know. But that's actually interesting how some folks, you know, they like you would never think that you do it for like your team or something, but like
Yeah.
how it impacts everyone else too. And
I
they
know.
start
I never
looking,
thought people were
they
watching
start looking
it.
forward to it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
totally.
great. Good stuff. Well, all right, Glam Slay, you got anything else for this conversation?
I got nothing.
The pressures of perfection, y'all.
We're almost closing out our first season of Unpolished.
Coming down to a close here. What, another episode or two?
Yeah, crazy.
Man.
It's been fun.
I mean, we're just getting started.
I want to thank our listeners, though, because without you guys, we couldn't do this.
Thank you.
So follow us.
Numbers
subscribe.
are going up. Numbers are going up.
Reviews. It's exciting to see.
Yeah. But, yeah.
And don't forget, be afraid and do it anyway.
And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that follow button.
Follow us. unpolishedpod@yahoo.com.
And as always, peace and love, y'all.